Welcome back to episode 2 of Our Town Our Take. Later on, we're going to be talking with Mayor Gerard Neugebauer. But for right now, we have some topics on hand.
This is just a reminder that the Drug Task Force Scholarship is due on April 28th at, I believe, 4 p.m. It's a pretty simple scholarship. You just list your extracurriculars and how drugs have affected you personally or your community. It's a great opportunity to earn some money for college.
And then I would like to turn this over to Ariane and Grant and congratulate them about their Academic Challenge Federal League title.
Thank you.
So what Academic Challenge is it's a non-athletic club for Green High School with Mr. Owen as the advisor, and we go to different schools and face teams in several rounds of trivia questions where each team can buzz in and confer if their team to answer the questions. Team with the most points wins.
Last week, we had a tournament at Hoover, and it was a 5-game tournament, and whoever won would qualify for regionals. And there was, a debate about who was going to win. We had the powerhouses like Jackson, Glen Oak, even Hoover, because they pretty much run the league. So our first game was against Jackson, and we have kind of grudge against Jackson because of a controversial no call with the head-to-head tournament, or with the head-to-head game we had with them during the regular season. And that kind of infuriated us, but we still lost by like 2 points that game. The next game was New Philadelphia. We won that. McKinley, we won that. Then we versed Glen Oak's JV team because some good JV teams were invited to the tournament, and we won that easily. And then Lake was a closer game, but we still won. And so we qualified for the semifinals. And the semifinals were Glen Oak and Jackson, and then us, and then Hoover. So Hoover's the best team in the league. We expected to lose. We were just there. We were like, okay, we had a good run. Time to go home. But we came clutch. I'm telling you. We came in handy. We came ready to play. And we beat Hoover by 2 points, I think.
It was, yeah.
Congratulations.
So it was a really close game, but we pulled through. And not surprisingly, Jackson beat Glen Oak. So we had a final match between Green and Jackson, and that has the same hype as Ohio State v. Michigan. All I'm saying. Maybe even better. All I'm saying. And Jackson obviously has a good academic challenge team, but we were better. We were better in every way, and we pulled through. And this has been the first championship, at least I've had, an academic challenge since I've been in high school. We haven't won a trophy in so long that we were going to clear out our trophy case, and it was kind of falling apart. So it was a really good experience. We just had a great time, and we're Federal League champions. So
yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I also want to say congratulations to our JV team as well, who qualified not only for a tournament, could have qualified for semifinals if they were a varsity team. And they also won the JV. They were the best JV team in the league as well.
Seems like we got a good team coming up, too.
Good future.
Oh, yeah.
Good future.
What differs between the JV and the varsity teams? Is it like age or?
It's like underclassmen, upperclassmen.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
That makes sense.
If you have that really good underclassman that just knows everything, he'll move up to varsity. But
I see. Well, with our winter activities and sports wrapping up, the spring sports will be starting here soon. And I know there's a spring sports meeting tomorrow night, February 9th, and I will be there because I do run track. So I hope to see other people out there. And track's just a great sport because there's no tryouts, nothing. Everyone competes. It's a really great environment. And then also this weekend, I don't know if any of you guys are going. I'm pretty excited. There's the Valentine's Day Cabaret with the a cappella groups.
I am excited for that. I have already called off work. I am planning on going and watching.
There will be desserts. I've heard there's desserts, so I would say definitely
come in.
Get your tickets now. I know if you get them from a member of the a cappella groups, they're cheaper than if you get them at the door. So I would say you should get them from someone.
Also coming out this week is issue 6 of the Paw Print. So I'm very excited. I'm personally on the Paw Print myself, and in the Paw Print, there's going to be an article regarding State of the City that I wrote. I know me, Grant, and Ariane were all there. I think my biggest takeaway, at least, was the community courts and then the new development of, I think 5 new neighborhoods coming in. And if you stay tuned after a brief break, you will see the interview regarding State of the City with Mayor Neugebauer.
Hi, welcome back. We're here today with Mayor Gerard Neugebauer, and can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mayor?
Sure. I've been mayor now for 7 years, going on my 8th. This will be my last year as mayor. As we all know, Greene has term limits on council and mayor, and so I'm a little disappointed that I can't continue serving, but that's the deal. So before I was mayor, I served on council for 1 term. 4 years, and before that I was on Planning and Zoning Commission, Design Review Board. So I've been involved in the city for about 20 years now on various capacities, and being mayor is one of the awesome ones. It really is.
We really enjoyed having you as our mayor.
Thank you.
As in terms of the State of the City, I was wondering, how do you prepare for that? Like weeks before, days before?
Yeah, really, I have a staff that works really hard on this. So I'm just the visual part, but there's so much work that goes on. Probably 2 months of work goes into that. It probably gets real heavy right around the first of the year. But, we also look throughout the year and we talk about, hey, we need some video of this. We need some pictures of that to be prepared for the State of the City. So it's really something we have to be mindful of all year, but I'd say it gets real hot and heavy right around the first of the year, and they've got about 3 weeks to throw everything together, and they do a great job. So really, they're working a lot harder probably in those 6 weeks prior than what I do. And once they get it kind of worked out, then I step in and start working with them and kind of fine-tuning things. But we all know what we did. It's just a matter of what we want to say and how we want to say it.
How are you feeling about this being your last address?
Well, see, I like doing it a lot. So I'm disappointed that was my last. I enjoy doing them. I enjoy the whole event. It's really cool. And so, it's one of the things I like doing in the job.
What are your thoughts on kind of how State of the City has evolved over the years? Because originally it was a kind of add-on at city council meetings, right? And it went from Braintree to now the auditorium.
Well, so first of all, it's required by charter. Okay, so it was always done, but the story has been told to me that Dan Krogan, of course, would come in, he'd put on his reading glasses and read the financial data from an annual report in front of council, right? And that was his requirement. That's what is required by charter. And from what I understand, the prior mayor, Dick Norton, wanted to make that just a little bit more of an event for the city, not just reading financial data. And so that's when they started putting in a lot more of the color to it, the interest to it, instead of just being financial reporting. And as you know, there's a lot more now than just financial reporting. I think we started doing them at Raintree, which was a great place to do them. With COVID, we thought we'd try the high school auditorium. And we really liked it. The presentation there was just a lot better than what the presentation can be at Raintree. It's just more space, a better sound, better audio. It's really laid out well for that. And so it wasn't so much a conscious thought about, we just need to move this somewhere else. It really was just a circumstance of COVID, keeping people spread out, and then realizing what a great facility is. And we knew we'd lose kind of that, a little bit of the it's nice doing a little bit of a banquet at Raintree. It works well there. But we tried to bring that with us to the high school. So we had some hors d'oeuvres and people were standing around talking. I think it went really well. And so I think the combination of things there make a really nice event for the community and a really nice presentation. It's probably far better a presentation there than what you do at Raintree.
And obviously we have the Massillon South project going on. Are there any more new roundabouts that residents should expect?
Oh, of course, they should always expect more roundabouts. That goes without saying. I talked to the staff earlier today, and they said, would you support a roundabout here? And I said, I'm here to support you. I think that if you think a roundabout's necessary, I think I support that, and I think you should move forward. But really, the public infrastructure, I like to emphasize sometimes that the public infrastructure doesn't have to be a roundabout. Massillon Road South didn't need to be a roundabout. That wasn't the point. The point was that we have 27,500 cars a day in that corridor. And if you're going to continue to grow with the projections, that number will reach 40,000 cars in 25 years. And that infrastructure will not support that level of traffic. So as a mayor, you have to move forward. And I think we are blessed to be able to proactively fix our infrastructure before it gets bogged down to where you can't move anymore. And so we continue to make those improvements. It just so happened that those were roundabouts, and often they are. But the point isn't to build a roundabout. The point is to improve the traffic. And oftentimes the roundabout becomes the best way to do so. The cheapest, perhaps, and most efficient. And the number one thing that you've heard me say over and over, and I'll say it again, is that it saves lives. It saves serious accidents, because even if you have an accident in a roundabout, tend to be very low speed. Typically, nobody gets hurt. A little bit of fender bender, take it to the collision repair place, get it fixed, and move on with your life. Nobody's getting seriously injured, and that affects people's lives. So that's really it. So to answer your question, more roundabouts? Absolutely. I think a lot of this depends on the next leadership, but we have a few that we're going to build. I noted at the State of the City. So this year they'll be building a roundabout at Mayfair and Mount Pleasant. And of course, they'll be completing the 2 here on Massillon Road North. And I also mentioned that we've secured funding from the federal government to build roundabouts on Arlington Road. And there'll be 2 of them, one at Southwood and one at Bettler. Well, here's a little news flash for you. We're going to do new schools. Mm-hmm. And the engineering staff has decided that where Shriver comes into Steese might be a great place for a roundabout, because as you know, right now there's a lot of traffic there, and there's a sheriff there in the mornings who has to direct traffic, and all that's because of the way that's oriented. So they came to me today and said, hey, do you mind if we start looking into that roundabout? I said, absolutely. If you think that's the next thing that needs to be evaluated, then certainly spend the resources to look at that and make that improvement. It makes sense to do it when you do the school projects, mm-hmm. rather than to wait and then do it later and then you tear it up multiple times. So I think that's something that's coming forward, and we've been looking at the intersection of Graybill and Mayfair. If you can kind of picture that, we put that temporary traffic light there. Did I miss any? Oh, Arlington and Mount Pleasant. So we received safety funding because we've had deaths there, and as you know, the roundabouts tend to make things a little safer, a lot safer. And so we have funding there to put a roundabout there. So yeah, there's a few in the works, and I imagine there'll be more.
I know another major topic, as someone who went to State of the City, was the introduction of the Green Community Fund. So could we get a little more insight, explanation, maybe as to what residents should expect from it?
So this just creates that framework that allows people to be generous, not only with their time as volunteers, but with their money. And really help the community long term. So there's 2 parts. First of all, you could raise money in this for specific things, like if people wanted to contribute to the community courts, and as part of that project, this fund could collect those monies and forward them towards the construction of that project. It could be new artificial turf at the stadium. Any type of project you could raise money. It could go through this nonprofit, and people could get their tax benefit, and that's the way it's done. But the other part's the endowment part, where you start getting a certain amount of money. Let's say $1 million can generate $50,000 a year to support nonprofits. So whether it's Blessings in a Backpack or Green Good Neighbors, or any of those types of programs that really support the residents in our community, $1 million would generate $50,000 of support for those efforts, and then as that fund grows, let's say you get to the $5 million mark, then you're generating $250,000 a year to support those nonprofits in your community. So, I think it needs to be established. It needs to be there for people when in their heart, that's what they want to do with their money, their resources.
And then I think major question is, what are you expecting for post mayoral term?
Yeah.
Retirement, or are you going back into the workforce?
Oh boy, I don't think I'm ready to retire. I really enjoy what I do. Coming to work every day was awesome. I have an awesome staff here. I get to do things that are just incredible, and so I'm going to miss that aspect of the job. But I also think that there's probably at least one or two more things that I'd like to do. Maybe jobs similar to this, maybe not the same, obviously, but where I can do the same types of things that excite me and energize me every day. I'm not ready to give that up yet. So I think I will be working. And it's just a matter of what field that is. It could be back to engineering. It could be a nonprofit. It could be, something for the state. I like transportation. I like public transit. There's a lot of things that I could be very passionate about that if the right opportunity comes up, it's something I'd like to do. So I don't think I'm done working. But then again, I'm not spending any time right now trying to figure that out. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is working with our students is perhaps the most rewarding thing. Seeing how you guys are taking interest in your community and sharing that with other students and really preparing, for what comes in your life later is just so rewarding to me. It's much like volunteering. We try to create the opportunities for you to be engaged, and it's really cool to see. So I thank you so much for stepping into these positions.
It's been a great experience.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Our Town, Our Take.